When I've got the renderer kind of where I want it, I'm going to start to work with the gradient shader. I'm just going to move this to a slightly better location. Let's move that down. The computer's slowing down a little bit just because of the fact I'm dealing with Camtasia and a lot of particles on screen at the moment. I'm going to pull in the particle gradient shader, and I'm going to use it to drive the particle renderers per cloud or global gradient color. So this is going to give me the distribution of colors along my point cloud. If I double click on the particle gradient, I'll minimize the render tree, or even just minimize it down to the corner there. I want to choose the colors in my gradient first off. So I've got far too many colors in my ramp to begin with, so I'm going to start with just a black and white ramp, and I'm going to add in my own colors. So I'll start off with maybe a hot blue at the base of the particles. Just give it a very hot blue color. Say something like that. And then we're going to ramp quickly into white, followed by yellow, and then into our red, where the the fire is at its coolest at the top of the flame. So I'll set a white color for the kind of the heated part of the flame. Maybe just add a tint of yellow in there. And then the main body of the flame, which will be a pretty brilliant yellow with just a bit of red mixed in. And then I'll move the last gradient slider into the deep reds. Say something like that. So now what I need to do is, after I've got this gradient sorted out, I need to use the gradient position attributes to spread the gradient out along the particle age, or along the particle height. And we can use this gradient in many different ways. We can take these range of colors and we can map them in this case, into 6 different inputs to control where the colors appear on my flame. If I draw a render region now, let's get an idea of what we're working with. So we've got the particles now moving from the yellow color, and now they're picking up some of the colors of the flame. If I wanted to stretch the gradient out a little further, I could increase the gradient start position. If I double the start position, I'm going to actually dim the particles somewhat. So the particles will get a little darker as you stretch the gradient out. You'll be using less of the base color, the yellows and the whites, and stretching in more of the actual reds and oranges, or the yellows and oranges. So if I want to use more of the blues and whites and yellows, I need to reduce the gradient start position. So if I take the start position down to, say, 3 or 4, I should get a much brighter flame torch, or brighter flaming torch. So just wait for that to render up. Okay, so that's not working out too badly. I might want to pull in a little bit more of the orange here, so I'm going to raise that gradient to about 4.5, and I'll take the intensity of that particular evaluation of the gradient up a little bit higher to around 85%. Let's just see what I have here first. So we're getting, again, a nice mixture of the oranges and the yellows. So I'll just increase the intensity of that effect. I can also ramp the gradient along the particle's age percentage. So as the particles are born, they're going to be a lot hotter, and at their death, they'll be using the last color in my ramp. I just need to increase the intensity with which the age percentage uses the gradient. So if I, again, use about 85% or 80% of the age percentage with the gradient, I'm now blending together my gradient in 2 different ways. Okay, so our flame is starting to come along. We're getting some nice yellow wisps mixed in with our red and orange.